DejaEdit is a collaborative editing solution for Avid MediaComposer. There are two versions: DejaEdit Client for standalone computers anywhere in the world, and DejaEdit Nexus, which connects the DejaEdit system to an Avid Nexus, an edit share, or something similar. The media and metadata is sent to the server by the DIT via an encrypted internet connection. The media and metadata is then transferred to a local hard drive at each editing suite that is set up with DejaEdit. This means that you can also work offline. During the project, DejaEdit will keep track of all media and metadata. Sequences can seamlessly be shared between the computers connected to the project. DejaEdit is scalable up to 20 editing stations, 4 assistant stations, 3 VFX stations, 1 DIT station, and 1 Avid Nexus. In this chapter, we will have a look at the DejaEdit source folder. The DIT uses the source folder to send the footage from set. First, let's take a look at how to import the footage into Avid MediaComposer. I use transcoded DNX HD36 MXF files, which have synced audio. I used SilverStack Lab from Pomfort to create the files, but you can use any DIT software to create the offline files. I also have AAF files that correspond to the footage files. Instead of moving the files myself, I can use DejaEdit to do this for me. I go to the I icon and select Preferences, then select Tools. I then enable the DIT transcode path by selecting Move. Then I select the folder where my transcoded files are. This function is only available on the DIT license. Now I have a new menu item. When I select this, it moves the MXF files into the Avid Media Files directory in a folder with today's date. It's important to know that the DIT must always use directories with 6 digits, and the number must be larger than 100,000. Otherwise, the MXF files won't be transferred to the server. The AAF and ALE files are moved to a date folder under the metadata folder. So it's simple to find the corresponding files when importing the material into Avid MediaComposer. I create a bin inside MediaComposer and rename it to today's date, so it matches the MXF directory. I then drag the AAF files into the bin, and since the media indexer already indexed the files we moved into the MXF directory, we see that the files are online. But the files look flat, and I have a LUT which I want to apply to the footage before sending it to the editors. I select the footage and select Source Settings from the menu. In the Color Management settings, I can load an external LUT. It's important to select Project before loading the LUT file, since it needs to be connected to the project in order for DejaEdit to see it and be able to transfer it. I select the LUT file, then I find it in the list and add it to the sources. Now the LUT is applied to all the shots. I close the folder, and since I'm done with my preparations, I drag it into the DejaEdit source folder. I then select Force Media Sync from the DejaEdit menu to send the footage to the server. This is done automatically once an hour when using the auto transfer setting in Preferences. But to speed up things, it's a good idea to use Force Media Sync when you work as a DIT. The orange dot in the I means that DejaEdit is transferring media. In the middle status row, you can see that the files are transferred. I also need to do a sync in order to send the bin to the server. This is done every 5 minutes when auto-transfer is enabled. Now the job on the DIT computer is done, so I will move to the Editor 1 computer. Since I don't want to wait for an hour to get the new media from the server, I will select Force Media Sync here as well. I recommend to have auto-transfer enabled, so this happens in the background while you edit. As soon as the media has been transferred, you will get a notification and the I icon turns green, telling you that there is new media to sync. The reason why you need to sync manually is because the media indexer shows a small pop-up window each time it finds new media. This can be very annoying while editing. I select Sync, and now the media is available in the MXF directory. Sometimes the media indexer does not start. Select something outside MediaComposer, like a Finder window, and select the MediaComposer again. And as you see, the media indexer starts. I then open the DejaEdit source folder and find the bin which the DIT put there. When I double-click it, I get a warning, telling me that it's locked, which means that I can't write to the bin. The media is available, but the LUT has not been applied. The LUT file has been transferred, as you can see here, but MediaComposer does not recognize LUT files which are added to the project after it has been started. So I need to restart MediaComposer. After the restart, the media has the LUT applied, as expected. When I opened the source bin, I got a warning that the bin is locked. To make changes, you need to copy the material to another bin. But this can also save you. In case you throw away a master clip and then close the bin, it will tell you that it can't write the changes. When I open it again, the clips are still there. So it's impossible to throw away footage from the source bin. In case you delete the media files, DejaEdit Client will recognize this and get the media again from the server. Next, I will move to a MediaComposer connected to an Avid Nexus, where DejaEdit Nexus takes care of the transfer between the DejaEdit server and the Avid Nexus. I open the bin in the DejaEdit source folder, and, as you can see, the media is online with the LUT applied. The bin is also locked here, but instead of a warning, the bin has a red lock. In this chapter, we will have a look at the DejaEdit Outbox and Inbox folders. The Outbox folder is used for sending bins to the other editors in the project. I'm using the Editor 1 computer, where I've created a sequence which I want to share with the other editors in the project. I create a new bin. The bin could be called anything, and I will call it From Editor 1. Then I duplicate the sequence and drag it into the new bin. I close the bin so it gets saved. And then I put the bin in my outbox. I then do a manual sync. I don't need to do this when I use auto-transfer, since the metadata will be synced every 5 minutes. Now I change to the Editor 2 computer. Here, you can see that we have an inbox with a folder telling me who the bin is from. In this case, James, who's editor 1. The bins in the inbox are locked in the same way as the source bins. It's the editor who creates the bin who owns it. In case James deletes the bin from his outbox, it will also disappear from my inbox. When I select the sequence, you can see that it looks like the one editor 1 sent. I want to continue working on it, and open my own bin and make a copy of the sequence by command dragging it into my bin. I rename the sequence and open it. I want to add a title to it. So I add a new track, set an in and out point, open Title tool, and create a title. I then close the Title tool and select the video disk I use for the project. This must be the same as you selected in the DejaEdit preferences. I select the resolution and press Save. And there is the title. I want to send this sequence to the other editors. I create a new bin, which I call From Editor 2. Then I command drag a copy of the sequence. Since the Title tool creates new media, I select Force Media Sync to send the new media to the server. I close the bin to save it and put it in my outbox. Then I select Sync. Now I have been using 2 standalone computers with DejaEdit Client. So now I go to a computer connected to an Avid Nexus. I have 2 folders in the inbox, one from James and one from Anna. I open the bin from Anna and then the sequence in the bin. As you can see, the title is in place. So now I want to add an intro shot to this sequence. I open my own bin, command drag a copy of the sequence to it, and rename it. The bin from Anna is locked, which is shown with the red lock icon. And you can see that it's owned by DejaEdit. My own bin has a green lock icon, which means I can write to it. I open the sequence and then import media into my bin. I select the clip and select Options, where I select the resolution and the workspace on the Nexus I'm using for this project. I then press Open to start the import. When the import is done, I select the forest clip and add it to the sequence. I now want to share this sequence with the other editors in the DejaEdit project. I create a new bin, make a copy of the sequence, rename the bin, and put it in my outbox. The computer with DejaEdit Nexus transfers the media and metadata in the background, so the editor connected to the Nexus does not have to do any syncing. DejaEdit Nexus synchronizes metadata every 3 minutes and media every 5 minutes. Now I'm back on the Editor 1 computer. I open the Nexus inbox and open the sequence. So, as you can see, no matter where you import media or make changes to a sequence, everything will be synced. In this chapter, I will explain the Assistant folder. This folder can only be used when the project has an assistant license. An assistant can create assistant bins for the editors. If we take a look at this source bin, you can see that it is locked. Assistant bins are not. Let me show you how they work. I create a bin which I call Assistant 190205, which is the date the source bin was created. I then drag the shots from the source bin to the assistant bin. I then close the source bin and get a warning that the changes can't be saved, which is what we want, because when you open the source bin again, all shots are still there. In my assistant bin, I want to color code the different shots. I select purple, orange, and green. Then I create a sequence and put all 3 shots in the timeline for the editor to look at. I then rename the sequence. I close the bin to save it and drag it to the Assistant folder. The bins in the Assistant folder are not sent to the server using sync. The reason is that the assistant might want to prepare several bins before sending them to the editors. Since the metadata is sent every 5 minutes when Enable Auto Transfer is selected, you might send away bins which are not ready to be sent. The Assistant license has an additional menu item, Send Assistant Bins. When I select it, the bin in the Assistant folder is sent to the server. The bin also disappears from my Assistant folder, but is not gone. In case you need to check something in a sent bin, you can find it with Finder. It is located inside the DejaEdit Assistant folder in your MediaComposer project. Assistant bins should only be sent once, to avoid conflicting bins in MediaComposer. Now that the Assistant bin is sent, I go to the Editor 2 computer. I start by doing a sync. The first time you receive an Assistant bin, you might need to close and open the DejaEdit folder so the Assistant folder shows up. Assistant Carl has sent this bin, and when I open it there is no warning about it being locked. The colors on the shots are there, and when I open the sequence, I can edit in it, and save the sequence directly into the Assistant bin. I can drag the Assistant bin out of the Assistant folder, and it will not appear again. Well, how does this look if I go to a MediaComposer connected to an Avid Nexus? The Assistant folder shows up here as well. When I open it, I find the same Assistant bin, which is not locked since it has a green lock icon. And when I open the sequence, I can edit in it and save the sequence directly into the Assistant bin. I can drag the Assistant bin out of the Assistant folder and it will not appear again. So if you throw away the bin, it's gone. This is true for both DejaEdit Client and DejaEdit Nexus. In this chapter, I'll show you what to do if your media is offline. I'm on the Editor 2 computer, and I open the sequence created in the chapter about Outbox and Inbox. When I open the sequence, there's a shot with media offline. The bin metadata will be updated constantly inside my MediaComposer project, but the media needs to be synced by me. The green dot in the I icon tells me that there is new media which I haven't synced. I select Sync from the menu. Sometimes the media indexer does not recognize the new media, and I have to select something outside MediaComposer, like the Finder, and then go back to the MediaComposer. Then the media indexer starts, and the media is online. The bin metadata is synced every 5 minutes, and the media every hour. So, in case the dot in the I isn't green, you can always select Force Media Sync and see if there is new media on the server. In this chapter, we will have a look at the DejaEdit ToSet folder. When using DejaEdit, you can send edited sequences to the director on set without exporting anything. This works with both DejaEdit Client and DejaEdit Nexus. I'm almost done with this sequence. I just want to add some music to it before showing it to the director. I create a new bin and import the music. It's important that you select the same drive you use for DejaEdit when importing media. I import the audio file and add it to the sequence. And here is the sequence I want to show the director. Instead of exporting a QuickTime and sending this to set, you can send a sequence to set where the director can watch it on the DIT computer. I create a new bin which I call For Director. Then I create a copy of the sequence and call it Scene 1. I close the bin and drag it into the ToSet folder. Since I don't want to wait for the media to sync, I select Force Media Sync to send the new audio file to the server, and then a sync to send away the bin. Let's have a look how this looks on the DIT computer. On the DIT computer, I select Sync and then open the ToSet folder. Here's a folder from Anna with the For Director bin. I open the bin, which is locked, and open the sequence. As you can see, all media ingested on the other editing stations has been transferred to the DIT station as well. This is automatically done while the DIT is sending the media from set. In this chapter, I will explain the ToVFX folder. This folder can be used by the editors to send bins to the VFX house. I'm using the Editor 1 computer. I create a new bin which I will send to the VFX house and a new sequence which I call ToVFX. I open the sequence I've been working on. The snow-clad mountain does not fit, and I want it removed. I copy the shot and paste it into my new sequence. I close the bin, rename it, and drag it to the ToVFX folder. And then I select Sync. At the VFX company's MediaComposer, I select Sync. The media indexer recognizes the new media added to the MXF directory. Then I open the inbox. Here I find a folder from James with the Scene 1 bin. I open the sequence. Now I can export an EDL, reference clips, or anything else I need at the VFX company. Now the VFX shot has been done, and I want to send it to the editors so they can put it in the sequence. I create a bin from VFX and import the VFX shot. I go to Options to make sure I import it at an offline resolution and to the disk which DejaEdit uses. Let's have a look. The mountain is gone. I close the bin to save it and drag it to my Outbox. I select Force Media Sync to send the new media to the server and select Sync to send the bin. The editor putting the shots in the sequence sits on a MediaComposer connected to the Avid Nexus. Here I find an inbox from Julia, with a bin including the VFX shot. In this chapter, I will explain Project Backup, first for DejaEdit Client and then for DejaEdit Nexus. DejaEdit makes a copy of your Avid MediaComposer project every night at midnight. On this computer, we've never made a backup, so we can use Force Project Backup to create a backup. So in case this computer crashes, there is always a backup on our server. To restore the backup, I go to Preferences, where I select Tools. When I click Browse, I will get a list with all backups made of this project. In this case, there is only one backup. The name includes the date and time when the backup was created. When I press OK, a file requester will pop up, where I can select where to download the backup. The current project will not be overwritten. I will get a zip file with the project in it. When I decompress the zip file, I get a folder. And now I can choose what I want to restore from the project. In case you don't have your computer running at night, please select Force Project Backup before you turn it off. Make sure you don't turn your computer off before the backup is done. When using DejaEdit Nexus, the backup is created on the computer which is running the software. Also here, the backup is created each night at midnight, but since this is a demo, we haven't made a backup. So I press Force Project Backup to create a backup. To restore the backup, I click Restore Backup, and a list with all backups made of this project is shown. In this case, there's only one backup. The name includes the date and time when the backup was created. When I press Restore, a file requester will pop up, where I can select where to download the backup. The current project will not be overwritten. I will get a zip file with the project in it. When I decompress the zip file, I get a folder. And now I can choose what I want to restore from the project. Thank you for watching this video. For more information, please visit our website.